Hello and welcome back to Creepy Cutie Crafty. Welcome back to yet another crafting video with me, Heather. Hi guys, how you doing this week? So this week I am finishing off this last little bit of decorative stitching on these stockings, and next week I will be starting to put them all together along with some other bits and pieces that I've been wanting to try and catch up on. So yes, so here I am doing what is called a Scottish Cretan stitch. Basically, you can see I'm doing like a loop back, so I'm making sure that my needle passes, oopsie daisy, underneath the loops where I've been, so it pulls it slightly across, and then over the top here, doing a loop back in that way, doing a stitch that way. So again, the thread is going around the needle so that it pulls it slightly to one side, and then turn my needle back to front, and where I've got the loops here going underneath the fabric, I go through so it catches them where they cross over, and then I'll do the same. Oopsie daisy, come on, silly thing, come on. I'm just going to pull that pin out for a second because it's getting in the way. Let's hope I haven't stitched myself onto the, well, pinned myself onto the blanket underneath, but I don't think I have. And then going back this way again, back through those loops, pulling it through, and there we go. I've done that all the way along, just because I wanted to try a decorative stitch on there. I haven't pinned myself down, so that's good. It's a good sign. And I've got space for maybe two more here. I'm trying to make them nice and lined up. I realised as I started I'd probably put this row of stars on the chicken scratch a little bit too close to the edge, but I think I got away with it just about. I'm not going to worry about it too much. It is, once again, in my favourite phrase, it is a little bit higgledy-piggledy, but I can live with that. So again, back over myself, I'm going to pull that pin out and just pin in there so it's out of the way. I've got this pin down here holding it in place anyway, and that's pulled through, and another one there, again going over the hanging thread, not under. There we go, and another one. Oops daisy. Now at the start I got them a little bit winky wonky. I'm not too worried about this though, because this is going to be over the edge of the hem, and I've managed to straighten it up more as I've gone through. And now I'm at the last one. There we go. Do a stitch through there, and a stitch through there. I'm wondering if I should have gone around and done all these patches with machine stitching and then did the stitching on top. I don't know though. I kind of like this. I think this stitching will be strong enough, but I will be coming in with my sewing machine to finish off the construction part of it, because I want it to be nice and solid and well constructed. But I'll be getting onto that next week. So yeah, this is literally the last video of me doing these decorative stitches for these two stockings. In case you didn't know, this is a project that's been going on for quite a while. This is a pair of stockings, Christmas stockings for my niece and my nephew, for Christmas obviously, and I'm making it out of patches of decorative fabrics, usually from fat quarters and things like that. Some of them are Christmas themed, some of them are not Christmas themed, and you've also got a bit of my own chicken scratch created elements in there as well. Right, so that one goes under because the needle needs to go over, so I get that little bit of a pull. I don't know why this is the Scottish Cretan stitch, but, or Cretan stitch, or how you pronounce it. But apparently it's Scottish. I don't know what makes it more Scottish or less Scottish than the previous ones, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. Yes, so there we go, and just bringing that one up here. that one was a little bit short, but I'm not going to worry too much. And I'm going to think of another stitch, another decoration to put onto the next bit over here. Just bear with me 1 second whilst I get this one in place. And through there. Not onto you, thank you very much. Like that. And that goes through there, that goes through there, that goes through there. And then back again on the other side, using my left hand because I like to make things even more difficult for myself. And then that goes through, oops daisy, come on, through there. And pull it on a little bit tight so it brings that circle together, sort of gathers it together. And then I'm just going to put a stitch through there and tie it off on the back. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so that's me sorted on that one. I'm just going to pull that pin out of there because I don't need that anymore. And I'll just quickly show you what I've done so far on this one. So I've got some stem stitch here, just in little curls. They're almost invisible, but you can see them just there, complementing the reds and the golds. I've got down here, oops daisy, just get those pins out. I've got some whipped chain stitch just there, so I've got sort of pink on the dark blue chain stitch, and I've got a feather stitch here in nice oranges. Gives it a lovely sort of golden sheen. I think that complements that quite well. I've got some button stitches or double button stitches just here, so they're sort of interlinking, and I've got the closed feather stitch just there, and some other bits and pieces here. Now this was the stitch that knows no name, the one that I've been calling herringbone stitch, but I did them sort of different lengths to try and emulate holly or that kind of feel, or sort of pine tree kind of feel, and some stitches there just to hold this down, but again emulating the leaf forms there. I think that looks pretty good. I'm just trying to fold it up so I don't get it in the way of what I'm doing next, so I'll just pin that down quickly. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to put a pin through there. So now I need to add some stitches onto these last few areas. I've got a nice long bit down here, and then these two side bits here. So I think I'm going to do the long one first, but I don't quite know what I'm going to do. I did have an idea, and I put it in my book over here. So I've got my dictionary of stitches as per usual, just so I can remember what I'm supposed to be doing. And the one I've just done is this one, the Scottish Cretan stitch. So there's your regular Cretan stitch, and there's the Scottish one. So as I say, looping back over itself and then going round between the loops there. But for the next one, I'm going to do what was I going to do? I'm going to do the closed buttonhole stitch that you can see there. So I think that could be quite nice. I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to get done today, but we'll see. So I've got blue, purple, orange there. So what colour should I have going down here? Red, maybe? Let's have a think about it. I was thinking maybe using just like the black and white here, but I've got black and white on here, so that's going to get in the way of that. Got some orange up there. It's because I've got all the colours here, so I've got green, red, yellow, blue up there. I'm gonna go for make a decision for me, someone, please. I'm gonna go for this orange over here, but this variegated orange just there. It's not that very, actually I think it's just a plain colour. Have I used that one recently? Let me have a quick look. Have I used it? I have, so I can't use that again for the moment. I'm trying to not use the multiple colours in the same place. So back to the thinking board. I'm going to go for a green. I know there's greens here, but I don't mind that, and I might actually add some holly effects on there as well. So if I go for a rich green like we've got here, or possibly a more ferny covered green. Ugh. It's very hard to get out. Which one do we think works best? I think that one for the moment. I might come back later and go with the other one for a different area, but I don't know yet. I will see when I get there. So yeah, we are once again embracing the chaos. I'm just throwing colours and shapes and stitches without any real planning. But at this stage in the game, what else would you expect from me? Anyway, so just going to quickly thread that up. And where's my needle? Where did I put it? I put it somewhere to remind myself, but I always forget where I put to remind myself. There we go. And yes, I do use a needle threader because my eyes don't work so well with this one. When it comes to narrower thread, so finer thread for actual stitching rather than for embroidery work, I can thread quite easily, but when it comes to embroidery thread, it's a lot more difficult. So I save my eyes and my hands, and I use a needle threader. I need to get some new ones actually, because mine have all started to break because I've used them so much in the last little while. So let's turn this on this side. Make sure that none of the pins are falling out, because they really do like to fall out. And I'm going to start at this end, I believe. And hold on before. Stop putting your needle in your mouth. You can't talk whilst you do that. Whilst I'm down here, I'm just going to quickly shift some of these pins across because it needs a bit more support so it doesn't go its own way. So bear with me a second. Let's just twist these around and get them all in the right place. And there's another one needed up there. Yeah, I'm doing this all on my knee. When it comes to actually doing things on the sewing machine, obviously I can't do that on my knee, so I'll be at the table for that one. However, I'm not sure if I should do that one as a Friday Fabric Fumble or as a more edited, shorter video. I mean, let me know down in the comments. I'm going to be doing that next week though, because I want to get these finished next week. I think it should be a fairly short video because it's yeah, it's going to be on the machine, so it's going to be a bit faster. However, I don't know if that's what would appeal to you guys, because I'm very aware that it's more of a slow stitching video on Friday, and I guess that's what everybody's looking for at the end of the week when they're trying to relax after a week of work. But I am prepared for either opinion, but I'm going to sort of try and video that one over the weekend, so then I can work out how long the video itself would actually be once I've tidied it up and edited it and things like that. I'm aware that it's going to be a lot less interesting because it's mostly going to be me sitting at a machine and pressing a pedal, which is very different to slow stitching. But like I say, everybody's opinions are welcome, and yes, we shall see how we feel about that when the time comes to it. But yeah, all opinions are welcome, but just be nice about it. That's the only thing I ask. But isn't that always the way? Let's have some ideas and some conversation about it, because that's what we need to do. Right, so I'm going to do the first stitch going up like that, and then coming back down. So it's almost like a buttonhole stitch, but it's kind of on the wonk. So a bit skew-iff. Of course, it would help if I can get the thread going through the fabric, wouldn't it? But yes. Ugh. Let's see if we can tidy that up a little bit. I think one of the threads got caught around the pin. That's made it go a bit weird. So got that one like that, almost as an L. Then coming back to the top there and having it like that. So it's almost like an A-frame type of thing. And I think that looks quite nice. The thing about these open sort of stitches is we've got these little sort of apertures here. You can add French knots or seed stitches in there to fill them out, or to add a bit more sort of structural cohesion. But yeah, I think they look pretty good on their own. I'm trying not to make these stitches too big, because I do need that sort of element of structural support of holding the pieces of patch together. But we shall see. Yes, so I mean, like I say, it's probably going to be a short, but a shorter video, not a short, because the short's only 3 minutes and you wouldn't be able to see much on that one, would you? But a shorter video and a more edited video that probably will come out on Monday or Tuesday for the sewing parts of it, the sewing machine parts of this process. So you know, I think next week I'll be starting on something new or starting on something different. I don't know though. I've still got quite a few projects that I need to catch up on, and my time is so scarce at the moment because everything's happening all at once. But it always does that, doesn't it? You'd think that after all this time of me saying, oh, things are a bit manic, I'd have worked out how to make them less manic, but no. Like I say, embrace the chaos and enjoy the creative time when you've got it, I suppose. But yeah, so I mean, I've specifically booked, well, I booked this week off work specifically so that I could have some time to catch up on stitching. And I mostly have, as you can see by me, you know, sharing the nearly completed stockings here, but I still would like to have been further ahead. So I mean, I've booked to go to a day out and a night out somewhere for one of the nights here, and I'm going to be taking with me my birds and fishes project, which I'm also going to be finishing this weekend, hopefully. It's one of those things where, because I got to the sort of boring attach the birds to the fabric stage, I thought that wouldn't be too exciting and wouldn't really hold your interest if you're watching my videos. So I have been doing most of it off screen, but the last little bit I want to do on screen so you can see it all coming together. And then again, I'll be using my sewing machine for a little bit of that, just to add like a border. And then I'll be presenting the very, very final thing to you guys. I'm really pleased with how it's going. I just wish I was further ahead with it. But don't we all? I mean, it's if you guys had a go at doing the Nana's Travelling Rick Crack project in collaboration with Christine from Create and Craft with Christine, let me know down in the comments, because I'd like to know that I'm not the only person who's struggling to keep up. I'm also struggling to get this on screen. I don't know quite why. Let's move things around a little bit. See if I can get you a bit more bit more focused on the actual bit that I'm working on rather than off the screen. You'd think by now that I'd be a bit more professional about all this, but I really am not. But such is life. If I was all organised and professional and filming in an elegant and what's the word, organised way, you guys would go into shock, wouldn't you? Because I mean, why start being professional and organised now, eh? Anyway, so yeah, yeah, I've got quite a bit to catch up on. So yeah, hopefully next week it will be, you know, time to start some new projects, because we are now getting into spooky month, and as you know, I very much enjoy the spooky in October, so I'm going to be doing some Halloween themed makes, and I'm looking forward to having a go at them. Now, you probably heard me talking about this in the last video, that I bought a gingham shirt to do some chicken scratch on the back, and I've got a design idea in mind. However, the shirt was in the size that fits Squinks, and so of course Squinks has borrowed the shirt a couple of times, and now it's just disappeared into their wardrobe. So they've decided that the shirt is theirs, and I don't have a shirt for me to work on. However, I did also manage to get to a charity shop last week, and I found myself another shirt that is pretty much as good as the one that Squinks has usurped, and I'm looking forward to doing some chicken scratch designs on that one. I'm thinking of doing some scully type designs, but also I'm thinking about bringing in maybe a pumpkin pattern, but I'm not sure how I would do that. But I do want to get in some whites and some bright oranges in there, because I do like that combination at this time of the year. It's used in quite a few cultures, because you've got like the pumpkins and the skulls and the ghosts and things that you have in Western cultures, but then you've also got things like the sugar skulls and things in Mexico and places like that, where they use marigolds as decoration and things, so you get that beautiful orange colour. But again, you've got to be careful about cultural appropriation. I used to love drawing sugar skulls and sugar skull ideas, but then somebody pointed out to me that if I wasn't from the, you know, the Mexican cultures, the South American cultures that celebrate Dia de los Muertos, you know, the Day of the Dead. I apologise for my pronunciation. Then maybe it's not such a good idea to have decorations in that style, which I think is fair enough. And until somebody tells me otherwise, somebody with the correct authority tells me otherwise, I'm not going to use that particular design. Squinks used to love the sugar skull designs as well, so we used to do like face painting, and I used to paint their face up as the sugar skull motifs. But since, you know, that conversation, I've put that on the back burner. It's not my culture, so therefore I don't own the right to use that particular pattern. It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's like, depends on the culture. Some cultures love others using their designs and their motifs because they see it as a celebration of their culture, as long as it's done with respect. However, you also get the others who are like, no, this is my culture, you can't use it because XYZ. However, you've always got to be very careful that the person who's speaking on behalf of that culture is someone from that culture, because quite often you get what they're called white saviours, which is quite a horrible idea in my mind. People who are trying to save the cultures that quite often are unable to communicate their personal preference, but they don't always do it from knowledge within that culture. It's like I was saying about the Japanese cultural designs. There was a case where there was a little girl who did a YouTube video or post on Facebook or something like that, I can't remember, but she'd done it dressed as a geisha. However, she'd done it quite respectfully. She'd gone out and she'd found out all about the culture, and she'd found out about the meanings behind the tea ceremony and the clothing and so on and so forth. But she then had hundreds and hundreds of people sort of, how dare you appropriate this culture, how dare you steal from Japanese people, this is their culture, blah 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 blah. But then there were Japanese people on the same thread who said, actually, we quite like this. So it's always worth speaking to people from within that culture before you make your decisions one way or the other. But that's just my tuppence worth. And again, I'm going to get off my soapbox now, because you're here for sewing, you're not here for my social political theories. But yes, it is something that's quite a catchword at the moment. So being careful about cultural appropriation, being careful about what's the word, patronising the cultures that you're borrowing from and saying, well, I have this, I have that, according to my rules, I have this, I have that. It's not ideal. Anyway, so back to the sewing. I think this is looking quite good. It's a bit open, and I think I made the stitches a little bit too big, but I think it works. And I'm probably going to need to have some more thread in a moment, so I'm going to get as far as I can with this thread, and then I'm going to thread up a new one, thread up a new thread. Yes, well done, Heather. You're going to thread up a new thread. Am I going to be able to get there? I might be able to. Do we think I can make it all the way to the end? Possibly. We shall see. Take your bets now. Anyway, so off me soapbox and back onto sewing. Now I'm finishing this one off. As I mentioned, I'm also going to be finishing off the birds and fishes thing. Finally going to be able to share the finished thing with you guys and with Christine and with all the other folks who've been doing the same project. But also I'm going to be getting back onto my gold work project. Now I'm trying to work out whether or not I should have the gold work project on my Friday Fabric Fumble. It is embroidery, sort of. It is on fabric, sort of. It is well, it's definitely me fumbling because I'm not very good at it yet. But I'm not entirely sure how interested you guys would be in something as finicky as that, because it would be mostly me dropping stitches and possibly swearing at myself. So far I've managed to avoid swearing at myself on camera, but you know, there is going to be that day. But I always do edit these things out. But I need to know whether or not you guys would find that interesting. I'm just going to rethread this needle and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so yeah, so what do you think, guys? Do you think I should keep the gold work to shorter videos that are heavily edited, or should I start doing them in my Friday Fabric Fumbles. It's something that I'm thinking of doing. I might just sort of do a little bit of gold work in the Friday Fabric Fumble so you can see what it's like when it's in the process, because it is very, very fiddly, extremely fiddly. But then mix it in with other projects and things. So I've got quite a few projects that I have lined up. So as well as the shirt, oops, excuse me, sorry for punching the camera. I've also got some ideas for doing some possible white work, which I've never done, and possibly using some cut work as well. I've not done that either, but it's something for Halloween, so that could be fun. But also, as I've mentioned, I've got some shibori and tie-dye that I want to have a go at over the next month, so trying to get these done before the 31st, before Halloween. Also being aware that at the end of this month I'm also going to be going back to Brighton with the family, so going to see what I can do there. I'm wondering whether or not there are some quilting or haberdashers or fabric shops in Brighton that would be worth having a look at, so I'm going to be checking those out as well, because you know me, I'm always interested in finding new bits and pieces to work with, but we'll see how we go when we get there. But yes, so in addition, furthermore, I will also be coming back to some more of the wool and fibre work that I was doing last year. For some reason, it's not a summer project for me. It's not something that I would want to do during the summer. However, in the winter, it seems that much more appealing to me. I don't know quite why. It's a very strange sort of mindset. But there's always certain things that you want to do at certain times of the year. Like, I know that a lot of people are saying that the Halloween, well, October and September are soup season, so this is the season when you like to make soup, but you can have soup any time of the year. But for some reason it's particularly nice when the cold weather is coming in. I certainly know that this time of the year is when I start to make more casseroles and more stews and things like that. So yeah, it's a fun thing to realise what we do and what we eat and what we enjoy is also seasonal, isn't it? Right, so finish that row. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through and just do a quick little anchoring stitch into each of these little holes here, like I said I was going to. Don't think I'm going to do, well, I'm not going to do French knots because I've already started it. I'm not going to do French knots because I find that I've done quite a lot of French knots on this design, so I'm going to try and hold myself back. But yes, so these are just going to be little seed stitches, adding an extra little decorative element in there. Nothing too major, just something to bring it all together like that. If you've seen on my Instagram recently or on my Facebook page, both of which are Creepy Cutie Crafty, they are still posting videos of my project and all the pieces of stitching I'm doing off screen as well. But yes, so if you want to see what I've been getting up to whilst I'm not videoing, just go and have a look on there and say hi and let me know what crafty stuff you've been getting up to.
What are you making?
I'm making the same stockings that I've been making for the past month. You know that.
Looks good.
Thank you. Meh. Okay. Thank you, Squinks. Bye-bye. But yes. I think I've done quite well with this. I've tried to emphasize the fabrics rather than the stitches this time. The stitches are nice, but they're not overtaking the whole thing, which is basically what I was worried it was going to do. I wanted to celebrate the fabrics more than the stitching, and the stitching was just there to add a little bit of decoration to the overall design. I think that's worked pretty well, but you can tell me what you think of it down in the comments. Same as usual. I'm very, very close to being done with this now, and it's gone a lot better than I thought it might have done. Not that I'm trying to be neggy, but you know, this is my first time in making Christmas stockings, so I think it's gone surprisingly well for somebody who's doing this the first time ever. But yes. But yeah, so I'm going to be going back to doing some more wool work and things with wool fibres and spinning and hopefully some weaving. I'm going to be finishing off the thing that I started on my pin weaving set last year. I put it aside because I started doing other more urgent things, and now I want to pick that back up again. If you remember, I said that I was going to do some things that used like Jiffy Loom, patterns and things to create patterns in the weaving, and I'm looking forward to having a go at doing that because I never got around to doing it last year. But also I'm thinking about whether or not to get myself a larger sort of table loom, a fixed heddle loom or something of that nature, because I want to do some actual weaving, because I spun some fibres last year, but I never got to the point of actually turning those fibres, those wools, into anything, and that's a bit of a shame really. So this year I'm going to be returning to doing some more pin loom weaving and possibly doing some other bits and pieces with that as well. Just going to tie this one off and I'm going to start the next bit back in a sec. Okay, so that's that long bit done. I think that looks pretty good, nice and tidy there, and yeah, I think that looks quite nice. I'll do the anchoring stitches on these bits off screen, but I'll get started on this bit here, this line here. So I've just pinned all that down. I'm going to put my needle just there. So what should I use for that one? Let's have a quick, oops, daisy. Let's have a quick looky look in my set here. That's black and white, and then you've got the colours on this side. I was thinking maybe red. You've got red there and red there. Got red up there too. How about, I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with a lilac type of colour. Let's go with that one. So that kind of tone there. But I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I think I might do a knotted buttonhole stitch. So let's see if I can get this all threaded up quickly. I'm definitely going to need a bit more than that, but we'll see. Bear with me 1 second. Try not to be too far off screen. Yep, there we go. So let's just start separating that out. Okay, so oops, sorry, there was some noise on the street just then, so I had to pause for a minute. But just threading up this nice lilac-y colour. I've used quite a bit of purple, so I don't want to use too much in what I'm doing. It's very similar to the colour up there, but not so close that it's gonna clash, if you know what I mean. That's fine with me. I can live with that, and I'm sure you guys can too. And let's hope that my little niece and nephew can live with that as well. I'm fully prepared for my brother to turn around and say, "Ooh, I don't like that. It's all messy." But I think his opinion in this instance is kind of secondary to my niece and nephew, who I'm actually making it for. So yes. Anyway, so I'm going to be having a go at a knotted buttonhole stitch, which is the same as a normal buttonhole stitch, but when you put the thing through, you add a knot on the end. So yes. Okay, I'm just going to put a pin in there. One thing I've noticed that the ends of these things, I've not been pinning it quite so carefully, so there's a little bit of movement there. It's not going to matter too much because it is almost like a cylinder. But yes. So, trying to work out how to do this. So, in there, through there, and out. And there's no knot on there because I must have messed that one up. That's okay. This is like the sacrificial ones because they're off the edge of the stocking. So let's try that again. 1, 2, in there, and coming through to there. Try and hold that in place. I'm making a mess of this. Oopsie daisy. Making a big mess of this one. Hold on. Oh dear. And no knot. It unknotted itself as I was going through. Might just be a buttonhole stitch on this one, but we'll see. Hold on. Let's get you back in focus. Right. So let's try that one again. So hold that down there so it's in an L shape. 1, hold on, if I do it that way, 1, 2, through the loop and back. Nope, it's not done it yet again. Hold on. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. It says to do the loop and then do it like a normal French knot, but for some reason it's not doing it. Ah dear. Let's see if I can work this one out. Let's try it. Let's try it this way. So if I oops daisy, hold it this way. 1, 2, through and through. Is it going to work this time? It is! Yay! So that's where I was going wrong. I was doing the knot back to front. So note to self, try it that way again in the future. So let's try that again. So it's that way. 1, 2, 3. Ugh. I will get this, guys. Trust me. Oh my gosh. This is a complicated one. Probably not complicated, I'm just making it complicated for myself. 1, 2, 3. Put it in there. Pull it out. Oops. There. Make sure I'm caught in that loop. I am not. And it's a bit loose, but I can live with that. But yeah, I definitely need 6 hands to do this one. And also, not having a camera in the way would probably help. But unfortunately, so that you guys can see me fumbling and mucking around, I have to have the camera there. So let's start this one again. 1, 2, 3. In there. Coming out there. Pulling it tighter before I pull it through. That's a bit better. But that one's come out quite loose, so I might have to tighten that one up on the back. And again, 1, 2, 3. Hold it on there. Put it through there. Pull this a little bit tighter. And then come back through there. Let's pull that a little bit tighter so that it'll go through nice and tight. Better. Not my best, but better. I'm getting my head around it. I'm probably doing this upside down because what I usually find. So if I try turning it that way, maybe that'll be a bit easier. Possibly, maybe. I don't know. So 1, 2, 3. Put the needle in there. Pull it through there. Pull this bit here tighter. And then pull the needle through. That's better. I'm getting it slowly, but I'm getting it. So it's got to be that way. 2 and 3. Holding the needle on there. Holding the loop there. And pulling that through. But before I pull it through, pull that one a little bit tighter. Hopefully that'll tighten up everything underneath it as well. There we go. And through it comes, and oops-a-daisy. There we go, it's got itself all tangled up there now. And it's caught itself up. Let's have a look. That come through. There we go, yeah, it just got itself a little bit caught up. There we go. It's fun to learn these new stitches, but I'm still very much aware that I am a mere learner when it comes to doing these things. I hope you guys are catching what I'm doing, because it's confusing enough when I can't see what I'm doing. Let's have that going that way. And there we go. That's better. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And I've unthreaded my needle, because of course I have. I'm getting close to the end of my hour, so I'll be finishing this off screen, and then we'll see how we go. Most of the last bit's going to be me just burbling, oh, what am I doing, what am I doing, with this thread, but we'll see how we go. I'm also, for this one, going to be returning to something that I mentioned ages and ages and ages ago, and that is medieval finger loop braiding, or just finger loop braiding I think it's called now, which is a method of making like cords and strings for all kinds of projects. So I'll be doing a shorter video on that process, because I'm going to be making some handmade cords for these stockings, so that they can have cords to pull them close, or cords to hang them up on, things like that. So yeah, keep your eye out for that one as well. What have I done there? Managed to actually go through the loop that was already sewing, so let's see if we can get through there. Let's see. Come on, thread, behave yourself. I think this is one of the cheaper threads, because it gets slightly more tangled as I'm working on it, which is a bit frustrating, but there we go. That's another one done. I'm starting to win. But yes, so working on all these things at the moment, and I'm trying to find space for my own things as well. And it's a busy old life, isn't it? But I really do enjoy doing my threading, my decorative stitching, my more functional stitching, I guess. But yes, did I do that one the wrong way around? I think I might have done, and I've gone through the loop again. That's where I'm going wrong. Nope, it's gone through. So what I'll do to make that look a bit even is I'll just put a sneaky little French knot in there. You won't tell anybody, will you? Pull that through, make that look reasonable. That's fine. And then on we go. So I'm going to continue this for another few minutes. I think I know what I did wrong. I was going the wrong way. So let's try 1, 2, 3, and 4. Through. Is that right? Nope, that's not right. That's absolutely the wrong way. So let's try that again. One, 2, 3, and 4. Going in there. And back out there. Is that right? Let's find out, shall we? And I've got inside the loop again, somehow. Don't know how I keep doing that. And around a pin. Yep, that's got it. Whew. In there. There we go. That's good. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Problem with doing these loopy loops is that the thread is trying to twist itself up quite a lot, so that's what makes it a little bit more difficult. There we go, and I will do the rest of those off screen, but I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to tidy up those ones there, obviously, but overall I think that's looking pretty good. And I will share at the end of the video pictures of this, and obviously pictures of this bit once that's been done, and yeah, keep your eye out for that at the end of the video, and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this so far, and what kind of stickers do you think I should have done. Let me know if you want me to do the gold work videos on my Friday Fabric Fumble. Let me know down in those comments. And yeah, let me know, are you going to be going to the Staffordshire Wool Gathering, and the Stafford Wool Gathering, which is one of the things I'm going to be going to. And I'm going to be definitely not buying tons and tons and tons of items, but I can't promise anything. Yeah, whilst you're down there leaving a comment, remember to like and subscribe and all those little things that help a tiny channel like mine to grow. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you very much again for watching, and bye bye.